Welcome to episode 43 of America in Crisis, Breaking the Cycle of Addiction. My name is David Hunt and I am your host. Please hit your DVRs to record. This show could save your child's life. Today's guest is Nora Oliver. Nora is an organizational development practitioner, certified life coach, and the founder of 10X. Nora Oliver, with years of experience helping individuals navigate personal challenges. Nora specializes in action-based therapy, guiding people toward lasting change in their lives. As a dedicated single mother, author, and mentor, she's passionate about breaking generational cycles and empowering individuals to reclaim their future. Today, she shares her insights on overcoming adversity and building a path to recovery. Nora, welcome to my show.
It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me here.
I really was looking forward to it. I really don't know where to start. You've been so accomplished and you've done so much. Let's start getting to know you a little bit. What can you share about your family?
Well, I'm a single mother of 3 young kids.
Okay.
I have, right now I have a 14, 13, and a 7-year-old daughter. So 2 boys and a girl.
You're busy.
Very busy, absolutely. Being a single parent for 8 years now, it definitely keeps you very busy, on top of everything else.
Can you share with our viewers what you call something is your dark days? What's that mean?
It can mean very differently for everybody else, right? But for me, my darkest days, and I've gone through a lot of different things in my life, difficulties, from being a teenager, living in a war, and not knowing whether I was going to make it out of the war alive or not. And that was very difficult. But aside from that, my darkest days was my divorce. It was extremely, very complicated, difficult, from trying to get out of a relationship, an abusive relationship was the most difficult. Not only that, but then COVID hit and I was forced to work full-time in the house with 3 kids, no support, no help, while homeschooling a 6 and a 7-year-old and having a 2-year-old at home to kind of juggle and entertain, who a toddler, as you're aware, is very, very active. So it's very hard to kind of manage it all. But my darkest days was really my divorce, trying to manage that, COVID, kids, and also I was starting a business as well. So that was also very challenging. Somehow I was juggling everything. So emotionally, it was very, very dark times.
And a lot of our viewers think that they have it bad. They don't realize there are people out there that have it so much worse than what they have.
There's always worse, absolutely. And what might feel worse for me might be easier for other people because, again, like you just said, there's always worse cases, Like, there were other families that I lived with during the war that they were struggling and it was hard for them because some of them lost their parents or they lost a sibling during the war. So that could be their most dark day. So really it's, each individual handles their life difficulties very differently. So it really depends on how it affects you.
And if they hear there's somebody out there worse than them,
Absolutely.
They have hope that, what I have, I feel bad, but someone survived something a hell of a lot worse than what I'm going through.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I was facing all these difficulties, and again, they were all happening at once. When they say when it rains, it pours.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was pouring very heavy during those times, and I was just trying to breathe. I was, constantly trying to get my head up and get some air, and it was so challenging for me because, again, I couldn't get any support because we were in lockdown. We couldn't leave the homes. It was very challenging for me to even grab groceries with 3 kids. I couldn't leave a 5, 6-year-old or 7-year-old at home. It was too challenging. I couldn't, and then taking a 2-year-old and 3 kids to grocery shop with masks and, trying to keep the mask on the kids was difficult. So overall, emotionally, it was extremely draining because also I had a job that was considered during COVID time as emergency response, right? So I had to actually go from site to site to do my job. So how do you do that with 3 kids at home when I had to homeschool, right? I had a 7-year-old in one computer and the 6-year-old in one computer and then a 2-year-old while I'm trying to work, keeping them entertained with their teachers. That was very challenging. So again, emotionally for me was the hardest part of all of it, right? The psychological abuse that I'd faced. So that was very, very difficult. So, but again, from there, I had to give myself two options, right? Everybody always has options in their lives.
Yes.
And I said to myself, I have two options. One, I can just give up and forget about everything and, get into drugs or get into alcohol. Or there were many ways that I could just give up. But I also said I have a second option, which was my first option. It became my first option, was to do something about it, right? To actually figure out ways to get out of that funk that I was living in, those difficulties I was facing in, because I knew people have done this before. And I said, why can't I do it? I said, it's hard to be a 100% single parent. It's hard to deal with COVID, right? Pandemic, that was difficult. But it was also hard to start a business, right? Just that alone is difficult. It takes a lot of courage. So I said to myself, I'm gonna pick option 2, which is my option 1, right? It became my option 1. And I said, I'm gonna do something about it. And that's when I began to wake up 5 a.m. every single morning, and I had a piece of paper and a pen and some tea, and I sat down on my porch every single day while my kids were sleeping, and I started making lists of how can I change my life? First of all, what are my issues that I'm facing? How bad of an issue is it? What do I do to get out of that funk? So by making lists every single day, that's when my business was born, right? That's when I said, wow, there's actually a lot that I can do about this. And yes, I'm one person, but I can do it. So I actually made a commitment to myself to make all these changes and say, I'm not going to give up on my kids. I'm not going to give up on my dream of owning a business. And I found out so many different ways to help myself and others. So that's when I started my business, right? 10X Nora Oliver was born. And I said, you know what? This is helping me. I've got to do this program for others because there's so many other people struggling, right? I chose the way to be my own hero. And that's when I started writing my first book, which I actually have a copy here. I needed a hero, so I became one. This is a biography of myself, but it's more so a self-help book for individuals. I talk about my struggles, how I overcame them, and also how others can use this book to be their own heroes during the tough times. And that led me to my second book, Mental Health Nutrition, What Professionals Do. It's a book about mental health. It's more of basically a self-help book for more so teens and adults, not for children. But there's a lot of information there and exercises that individuals can do to help themselves get out of that funky life that they're living, right? If they feel stuck, they're unhappy, they're not sure what to do about their lives, this is going to help them. And again, I'm talking a lot here and you can shut me up, but there is a lot that an individual can do. It's just getting the guidance. A lot of times we don't know where to start.
Oh, believe me, I know. Try finding out in September when your doctor tells you you get 90 days to live. Because you can either not do anything and just go out, or we can give you massive doses of different drugs and massive treatments, and then you're looking forward to a surgery for 4 hours, which turned into 11. So
that's
I
difficult.
know. I mean,
Wow.
That's why I've been out for a while. I've had some side effects to the surgeries, plural.
Wow. And look at you.
And the thing was, never turned to drugs, was able to do it just with mind control. Never turned to drugs, never turned to alcohol. I mean, they had me on enough treatments I couldn't touch drugs anyway if I wanted to. But I never said, I'm going to feel sorry for myself and give up. First things I wanted to do was come back, do my show. I wanted to go out and do things. I miss Vigil on the Common, which they do every August. And the hospital wouldn't let me out for 3 hours. Not a good idea. But it's been 43 days, so I know what it's like to go through living hell. And I can emphasize with people that are on drugs that are having their problems even more now, realizing that where do you turn? What do you do? And that's why I'm trying to do these shows and get different guests in to tell you, well, hey, these are the treatments that are out there. Here are your options. Obviously, my thing had nothing to do with drugs, but when it's a life or death situation, every person that's using a drug it's a life or death situation. You're taking a risk. You're taking opioids. Well, opioids, at the old days, were just opioids, just heroin. Now it's mixed with fentanyl, which if you think that's bad, now it's new and improved. It's mixed with xylazine, which is an animal tranquilizer. So you don't even know what you're getting. Every time you're doing an illicit drug, you're putting your life in your hands. And when life is so precious, I was fighting every single day to keep my life, to stay alive for the treatment that I had to get for the surgery. And I just can't understand why some people want to risk their life that way. But you know, they need help, and that's why the show is here, and that's why my guests are here. But they can tell you where to get that help. Mm-hmm. Now, when you go through your dark days, you thought a good life was out of reach. What made you think that you couldn't go forward?
Well, as I mentioned, my dark days, emotionally and psychologically, it felt like I just, it's too much to handle.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing I could do. I felt trapped. I felt like, wow, especially with pandemic happening. I felt like I couldn't get help at all because, again, like in the normal days, you can go to places to get help, but they were telling people to, unless you have COVID and you have severe symptoms, don't even go to emergency room. So like I was literally stuck, trapped in a home, and I was forced to deal with everything that I had to. In a way, I'm thankful because I made the right choice. I forced myself to figure it all out on my own. Mm-hmm. I forced myself to come up with ways to cope with it, and not only cope, but basically heal myself, right? I basically treated my own self. And remember, during COVID time, you couldn't even get a therapist to talk to you. Wait lists were so long. So again, I really felt like I was trapped, right? There was no way to seek help. There was nowhere to go. I was basically forced, like the universe was sending me to start my business, to figure this all out. And again, look at all of this, right?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of myself. I'm proud of my kids. I've done some amazing things. I'm not trying to brag and talk about it too much, but what I'm trying to state here is that we always have options. Yes. Even when we feel like we should just give up, there's nothing that we can do.
I'll believe
there's
you.
Always a better option. And it's just that we need to choose better. We need to make decisions for ourselves, right? We're so focused in our emotions and the problem that we are dealing with, we are not focusing on the big picture of our lives, what's making all this happening, right? We're not focusing on how to get out of this, funky life, this unhappy life, right? Because, let's real quick talk about the reasons that people struggle and, they end up using different substance abuse or alcohol, right? They don't just make that decision because they're happy, right? A happy person does not immediately go to drugs. A happy person makes these better choices about themselves. They want to thrive, right? They have dreams. But someone that may end up in, substance abuse, they're not happy. Whether they're dealing with emotional pain, a breakup, or they're having to go through divorce, or other emotional pain from past trauma. Sometimes it has to do with mental illnesses like depression, anxiety, which again, a lot of those end up happening from past trauma or existing trauma. It could be peer pressure. That's usually for teens, right? They want to fit in, or they're pressured to try something that they know they shouldn't. Or sometimes it's just to escape the reality, right? They don't want to face the reality because reality is too difficult to handle, so let me escape it. And then there's a lack of support again, right? Yeah. At the end of the day, we all have many different reasons that we get into, different kinds of illegal, whatever you want to call it, drugs, right? That really, at the end of the day, harm us. So we have to start from the beginning and say, we have options. And we are choosing what we want that next step in our lives to be.
And that's the big problem. Teens don't want the options. First, they're embarrassed. My mother would kill me that I'm using this drug if she ever knew I was trying it. Even if I go to mom, hey, I need help getting off the drug, I don't want my mom to know I have the drug. Even if I'm doing the right thing, it's how did you start in the first place? So They're afraid the mother has an opinion of the kid, knows the kid's doing great, is an honest student, everything's going great, has no idea after school the kid is out getting high because their friends had them do it. And now they can't get off the stuff. And they're so afraid. And I tell you, kids, go to your parents. If you can't, there's always a school counselor, even a school resource officer. You can go and say, no, I want to keep this from my mom. I need to get some help. Then I'll tell her after I'm over it. But where would you go? And I mean, the resources are out there. All you have to do is ask. And I try to emphasize that. That's why I bring options to you at this show. You say, you know, that sounds like maybe I can use this. This might help me. Then mom and dad won't find out, and I'll tell them when it's all over, hey, I went through this dark period. So, you founded 10X. What can you tell us about that? What's 10X basically?
Yep, so I started 10X because I do have many different parts of life that I cover with my clients, right? It's not just focused on mental health. I actually do, so whenever somebody new comes into my facility, I always do a full life assessment. I basically look at everything in their life, how they're living it. So from nutrition to mental health to support to who they surround themselves, their career, their lifestyle, habits, choices. So basically everything. It's a pretty pretty long assessment that I do, but it's very helpful because many times, a lot of my clients, they don't realize that, you know, when we look at the rating, that their career is the one that's really affecting their life the most, right? So we figure that out, and we work on how to make yourself happy. We work on how to get, out of the bad habits of being in a bad relationships into now changing that habit, right? And then we talk about and we work on nutrition because that is a big effect that it has in our mental health, right? It's our second brain, basically, right? Which I actually call it the first brain because what you put in your body is how you feel, how you act, right? So there's a lot that I work with my clients. Again, the 10X is really taking a look at everything in your life, the big picture, and then we get into the small pictures and we find the root cause of why you're in this place that you feel unhappy and your life sucks. So we figure out the root cause. I'm more so an action coach. I don't focus on just talking, right? I like to take action. So every time all of my clients get homework after each session that they have with me, and each homework has to do with based on whatever they're struggling in life. So if it's relationships, I'll give them homework. First homework would be how to identify what a healthy relationship is, what you want in a partner. So once they get clarity as to what they want in a relationship, like from their partner and how they want to feel, that gives them clarity that maybe the person they're with now is making them unhappy because it's not the person that they really want to be with, right? That they have all the checklist of what's a good person for them, how it makes them feel. So we look at all the little details, but that gives me a lot of clarity. It gives them a lot of clarity, and that really helps out.
To go off topic for a minute, people, male and female, want to feel wanted. You want to be in a relationship and feel loved, feel wanted. You're having a crap day at work. You want to come home to your partner and say, I had a really bad day with my boss. You want some support and comfort.
Yes,
but when you come home and your husband's an alcoholic, has his problems, and he hits you. And people have told me, well, my boyfriend, my husband, whatever, he's a great guy when he's not drunk. Then he beats me, but he loves me. If they love you, they're not going to beat you. And that person doesn't have the confidence and the esteem to go get help or leave the guy and say, I don't want to come home and get beat because he's had a crappy day. My day is just as bad as him, but he's drinking and I'm not, so he's hitting me. They feel that they can't find somebody else, that they have to stay with this one person. Well, I'm comfortable with him. He's great 9 out of 10 times. It's the one time that he's beating me. And I try to tell people, I've worked with a couple programs, the Alliance Against Violence, trying to tell people, hey, this isn't right. If he loves you, he'll do something to get off of his alcohol problem. There are places he can go. It's not he has to do it on his own. But people don't want to go and take the step forward to feel alone. Oh, if I up and leave, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? They're so afraid of the unknown.
Right.
So they'll settle in to the guy that's beating him every now and then. He goes, but he doesn't mean it. He loves me.
Right, but a lot of that has to do with self-worth.
Exactly.
When you allow yourself to be in that abusive relationship, whether it's just alcohol or physical abuse, or when you have physical abuse, more likely you have emotional, psychological abuse as well. It's all tied to it. So you really have an issue yourself if you're allowing that to happen to you, because you need to have self-worth, and you have to understand that this is not okay. You will not allow another individual, whether you're married, dating, or a relative, you will not allow such things to happen to you, right? These events. So you really have to have control of your own life before you can help anyone else. But you need to remove yourself from that abuse.
No, I've seen things that are just crazy. Again, go off subject. I had an ex-girlfriend. We broke up. We're still friends. We just had different career paths. She wanted to move somewhere. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to go live with her. Whatever. We still cared about each other. But we had two different paths. It's like, you wasting my time, me wasting yours. You go, good luck. I go, good luck. We can still be good friends. Mm-hmm. And she met up with a guy, totally abusive, wouldn't even let her have a cell phone, took the house phone away, locked the doors when he was at work, stopped the communication with her family, never mind her friends. So nobody could say, hey, look what you're living through. She finally somehow got somebody's phone, called me, and I convinced her, hey, this is what needs to be done. I spoke to the local police department where she was living. They had a counselor go in. Thank God she was able to get away from him, but it was absolutely living hell. And she loved him. They were getting married, but she lost all self-esteem.
Yeah, it can absolutely change you. I mean, a relationship can either break you or make you better. In that case, that's difficult. So yes, you have to work on yourself, right? Each individual needs to work on themselves. And that's really the only thing you can do. You cannot control others.
Gee, I'm glad we're expanding a little bit off of drugs from my
yes,
show.
Yes.
But anyway,
so that's the whole thing. And I don't mean to interrupt, but it all starts with you, right?
Yeah.
What you allow to happen into your life, right? Before you even get into the drug use and all that, you have to be careful who you surround yourself, your peers, your family. How are they affecting your life, right? How are they helping you get better, or are they making you worse? And if they're making you worse, then you need to distance yourself or completely remove them out of your life. So for teens, that's very hard to do because, again, they're in the same schools, they may be bullied, and there's different ways to get bullied. They're, again, trying to fit in, and they're also forming all these new emotions too, because they're still developing mentally and physically too. So their bodies, their minds, they're still developing and changing. So there's a lot that they're going through. And that's why a kid needs the most support from a parent when they're a teenager. And we think that they want to be alone on their own, but no, that's when they need you the most, right? Because they're really starting to date, and they're having new friends, and now they're taking a lot more difficult classes in high school, sports. It's a very difficult world than how we grew up, than how it is now. So be there for your kids every day as much as you can.
Now, you've got different programs. One of them I hear is called Elevate Your Life. Can you briefly touch upon that?
Yes, absolutely. It's a program I created a few years ago, and I finally took it, brought it in, and it's active. As of a few months ago. So it's a program that we meet as a group on a monthly basis. It is only $100 a month, so it is absolutely worth it because we cover everything in life. I talk about how to find out what's your really true, meaningful career. We talk about how to make yourself happy. Don't expect other people to make you happy, because if you're waiting for that, it will never happen, right? So I talk about how to make yourself happy. I talk about nutrition, how to eat healthy, what to look for, everything that's surrounding us that affects us, from not just eating water, but all the products we use, right? How we expose ourselves to everything around us, how it affects you. I talk about, relationships. I talk about how to cope with difficult challenges. I mean, there's a long list of what we go over in that program, but it's absolutely meant to change you drastically. So whatever issues you're having, the program is for you. And it's for just about anyone, honestly. I would say probably for teen to older. As far as little kids, my children and I have published 3 self-help children's books that I'm so excited about. And since I couldn't include the kids on this program, so we figured, why don't we help kids with our books, right? So the first book I published with my daughter is really Emma.
Nice.
My daughter's Emma, like Mommy and Emma and Mommy's Magical Hearts. It's about my daughter, but also we talk about the connection as parent and kids, and how to value the little special moments.
I saw your number on the front page of the women's paper last week.
Yes, we were invited to her school to do a speech on diligence, and my daughter and I love her so much. We have so much fun. So we had fun putting the speech together, and we went back and forth, and we had a lot of claps in between, and the audience loved that. So like that's the whole thing, was to really motivate, and we gave a challenge at that speech for everyone to try and change, do one new thing for this month. Like pick something, whether to be better at a particular sport with their family or a better friend, right? And we said, and then at the end of the month, we said, take a look at how you have improved. And we talked about how don't give up, keep trying even when it's very hard. And I can't wait to see the results. Hopefully, it's helping at least out of the 500 something people that were there. Hopefully, if one person takes that challenge and improves, then we've done a good job.
Well, you got so much useful information on other areas in life and mental illness and everything else.
Absolutely. We're trying to make a difference, not just adults, but children as well, because if we start early on, that we're making an impact and we're educating about their feelings, emotions, how to make good decisions early on.
So, welcome back to America in Crisis, Breaking the Cycle of Addiction, a show that deals with alcohol and drug abuse. Now that we're back to America in Crisis, what programs do you have that helps those that are addicted to alcohol or drugs?
Yep, so, and they can absolutely join the Elevate Your Life program. It's a monthly program, or they can work with me one-on-one. Okay. So I highly recommend, if you're having extreme difficulties in your life that needs emergency, like right away support, I would say book a one-on-one appointment.
Okay.
And just get to it, because we are going to identify exactly what the root cause of whether you're addicted to substance abuse or you're just getting into it, but you want to get that help like now, get support, because it's out there. And when you're going through these difficulties, it's really hard to figure out what's right for you, because there's so many services out there, but get that first help.
So you're one-on-one, it's private, no one needs to know.
Exactly.
It's probably the best $100 you ever spent.
Absolutely, yes, yep, absolutely. It's so worth it.
Now, if I walk in your front door with a drinking problem, what can I expect from you?
Same thing, honestly. It's the same process. We'll go over the full assessment. We'll figure out how are you living your life, where did things go wrong, what's really going on in your life, how are you eating, how are you sleeping, everything that you do in your life affects us. So we're gonna look at the big picture, and find the root cause, and then we start working from there.
Let's face it, I don't wake up some morning and say I want to be an alcoholic.
Right, exactly, yeah, like we talked.
Something drove me to that. Something says, I tried one beer, it's relaxing. Let me try another beer, it's relaxing. Oh, look how much I have to drink to get the buzz. Now I'll try the hard stuff. And next thing you know, I'm doing JD or whatever.
Right, yeah. So you need to really make that decision, right? You have to be alert. When you say, I had 2 or 3 glasses of wine or beer, whatever, and you realize that you're not feeling normal, it's time to stop. It's time to make that decision, right? That good decision that now that I'm hurting myself, I'm hurting my body, because alcohol, it's just so unhealthy for your body. It cannot handle that.
Now, what about substance? Why would I want to come to you for substance abuse versus the million other things that are out there? Yeah. What makes yours so special?
Well, same thing, really. I have this ability to really find the root cause pretty quickly. You don't need to meet with me for hours and hours or days to figure out what the problem is. The intake is not days, right? So we're going to find out what the problem that you're facing and when did it start pretty quickly. And we're going to start working on that. Because when you figure out, oh, this is my problem, this is how I got into this is how I made bad choices, then you're going to want to change, because we're going to talk about, the reason why you want to make the positive changes in your life, right? You're not just saying, let me try this. You're actually going to want to be a better person after the program, like once you get started. Yeah.
And then you see what ends up working. I mean, there's so many different things out there.
Yeah, and that's why I like to work with each individual differently, right? I can't do the same things for everyone because we're all different human beings, right?
Oh, I
what
know.
works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for you. So, I have to work with what I have in front of me and what they need right there, right? That's why the assessment helps me out with their personalities and what's going on, how to help them.
Oh, so most of these are in person, or is there also homework? You mentioned homework.
Yes.
What
yep.
do I have to do at home?
A lot of my clients I meet via Zoom. They prefer online sessions, and they're very private. There's nobody else there, and they don't have to leave work. They don't have to They don't have to do the driving, and it's just more convenient. But I also see people in person as well here in Woburn. I'm right at the TJ Maxx Plaza, very close.
Oh, wow.
So homework, it is very different homework based on what a person is having difficulties with. So if it's nutrition, it'll be homework about, let's start looking at what you have in your kitchen, make that list and read all the ingredients, how to, find out what's healthy for you and that sort of thing. So it really depends on what you're going through, but it's actually, the homework is taking action in your real life. So it's not like you're writing an essay or you're writing answers to me. You're actually only doing it for yourself and you're taking action in your life based on whatever you may be facing difficulties with.
Now, is this long term? Do I come in once or twice, or am I basically married to you for the rest of my life?
So it really depends what you're facing. So if, let's say, I've had clients who were in extreme OCD difficulties where they couldn't even leave their house. Like they couldn't even leave their bedroom. They were afraid to touch anything. And on top of that, they faced depression. And they just had difficulties keeping a job because of OCD. So with that individual, I worked, I believe it took almost 6 months, and that individual has stopped taking medication for depression, OCD, and he works now. Not only does he works in the school systems where he's constantly around germs. He's constantly around germs. Now, this person couldn't leave the bedroom, but he's now working with kids. So that says a lot about in such a short term, which a lot of people believe that it's impossible. And this person had gone through therapy to therapy since he was a little kid, and nothing has worked. And within 6 months, and that's where I mean, like really doing that assessment and really digging deep into finding out the real cause, it's what's going to help you. So we figured out his reasoning for OCD, and we worked all those months to really get it better. So now with him, we meet and every month as needed if there's things that he needs help with, like he started his own business, so he needs a little bit help on that. But every person is very different. So again, like I said, I work differently with each client, and because we're all very unique and I can't do the same exact program with each individual, especially when it's very extreme, like so many different issues they're facing.
It's interesting. Now, a little more about you.
Yeah.
You have a podcast. I don't even have one of those yet.
Oh, I have a podcast and I have my own show as well. So it's called Life Unlimited.
Yes.
It's a show where I bring in all kinds of different experts. Like I just said, just similar to my business, right? But I actually bring in specific different experts. So a few weeks ago, I had someone who's focused on leaky gut. So helping with nutrition and leaky gut, which is a pretty serious issue to face because it really affects your whole body tremendously. So we talked about that, and then I had a doctor who's in PT, right? And so I have somebody else coming in on sleep issues. She's a sleep issues coach next week, and we're going to talk about sleep and how it affects us and what to do to get better sleep. So it's really a show and podcast all about different parts of your life that can make you better. So it's great for just about anyone,
And I'm sure at your prices you're not getting rich. What can you tell us about opportunities to sponsor 10X?
Yes, so absolutely I'm not getting rich, no. but I am getting rich in a way as making, when it comes to like making an impact. I'm definitely making an impact in other people's lives. Especially, I've helped a lot of parents. By helping the parents, now I'm helping, it's helping their kids, which is very effective. And now I'm helping a lot of teenagers because for some reason there's been a lot of issues going on in high schools recently. So I've been working on that. I mean, it's always been around, but most recently it just seems to kind of get up there a lot more than normal. So I've been supporting in that area as well. But yeah, definitely not getting rich financially, but there's definitely,
There should be a place in heaven for you, that's all.
Yes. Oh, I'm very, very happy with the impact I'm making, for sure.
That's why I do this. Obviously, we don't get paid for doing these shows.
Right, yeah.
No. Well, so this is a drug show. It's only fair that we share a couple of other things about you. What is the Express program for business? What can you tell us about that? You might as well just go totally off subject.
Yes, we've talked about the personal life, but I actually, I'm an organizational development practitioner as well. So I work with businesses. So kind of similar to the personal clients, but different in a way. So I help them create plans, like onboarding plans, interview plans when they get new employees. So I train them how to find the appropriate employee, how to do the full onboarding, and then how to do the 3-year reviews. So it's a very extensive program. And I've been working, I'm actually approved through the state of Massachusetts, which is an Express, it's called Express program. They cover $20,000 of fees. So if a business needs special training on a particular area that I focus on, they can take my program and the state covers up to $20,000, which my program doesn't cost that much. So they're fully getting refunded for that through the state of Massachusetts, which is a huge program. It's crazy for anyone not to use it because it's there and you're getting the training that you need to improve your business. I've been part of National Small Business Association based out of Washington, D.C. It's an association that combines all the businesses, big or small, within the United States, and we actually have a few businesses worldwide as well that join in. So within that program, that organization, I actually meet with different senators, Congress, and we talk about the big picture of how different laws and programs are impacting businesses. So when it comes to the business side, I can talk on and on about that, but that's like another connection I have. So I've had a ton of meetings in DC with different, like Catherine Clark's in her office, Ed Markey is amazing. And then of course others from other states as well. So yeah, absolutely. Everyone should take that program. It's free. It's like no cost.
I only wanted to bring that up, guys, because this is a show to help people, whether it's addiction, drugs, mental illness. There's an area that's helping people. Yeah. So I wanted to touch upon that just to give the businesses an idea. Now you have your own show. Obviously, we just touched upon it briefly on Woburn Public Media. Do you feel that if you can get people coping with anxiety and other issues through coaching, maybe that they won't seek other methods like turning to substances? Is that anything you'd like to say to our viewers?
Absolutely. I think if you, like you and I, we're offering all these programs, right? And we're here, we're not getting paid. Our goal is to really make an impact out there. And that's why I bring in different guests that can support our community, and it's free. All they have to do is watch these episodes, and it gives them a lot of help and support and guidance. And they just have to really do their part. Like, we're doing our part to try and help others, but now they have to do their part as well. So, we have so many of these different programs. I'm also part of the Woburn Community Resources Group, where we meet on a monthly basis, and we share our thoughts about how to help our community, what we're doing, different programs, and it's been very helpful as well. I saw that you interviewed Mackenzie.
Yes, she's awesome.
She manages that program. Which is amazing, but like we said, there's so many options out there. You just have to really seek help and support. Like, start anywhere, right? Anywhere. It's better than nothing at all.
And you'd be perfect for a fun run and expo in June.
I'm helping Mackenzie on that, actually. We're working together.
Yeah, I'm going to be down there. I'm going to have a booth set up.
Good.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. Yeah, that's awesome.
So, before we close, is there anything you'd like to say to our viewers?
Well, if I really say the first step is get support right away. I always say to everyone, if the least you can do is come in and do the full life assessment. Figure out what's really causing you to be in this funky, unhappy life. And from there, you can decide whether you want to work with me or whether you think you can do it on your own. The least I can do is give you some guidance on how to help yourself. And two, go and check out my website and kind of see what's out there. The website is www.noraoliver.com, or you can call me directly at 332-334-6997. And, reach out here. You can comment on the video with any questions you might have, or if you feel like I just don't know where to go or you're lost, you can put questions up there as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're good. You got me to say things on TV that I've never shared with my viewers.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I still haven't told anybody what's wrong with me, and I probably won't. That's really personal, but obviously it involved a lot of surgery, and it's just some stuff I'm dealing with. And, well, it was a lot of hospitalization. So thanks to, obviously, the people at Winchester, Leahy, and even Tufts in Boston. So I'm still with you guys. That's why I'm just literally within 10 days, we just taped 3 shows. So I'm making up for lost time. I've got people in line that have been waiting to get on, and I'm just feeling good enough now. And I've got my voice back, as you can tell from my last show. So I'd like to make a little presentation. Nora, this is for you.
Oh, that's so. Thank you so much. I hear that today is a special day for you, and if I may.
Yes, you may.
I have a little surprise for you.
I've been looking at that for the last half hour, so yes, you may.
Oh, good, good, good. I hear you're turning 21, and that is a great age to be right now.
Nice.
Just stay away from drugs. All right, so should I sing?
No,
I'll make it really, really short.
Make it really short. She's got a hand on the switch.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear you. All right, I'm gonna make
You know we're gonna edit all this out.
But no. I want you to make a really, really big wish, okay? Whatever you want to happen.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. That's great.
I made it for another birthday. That is a milestone.
Yes.
The viewers knew what was going on with me. That is a milestone.
Yes.
I'm sort of leading the way on something. So they can't go back and see what happened to other people. I'm the one leading the way, so they're getting their information from how I'm doing, which is a scary thought, but things are going good. There is modern medicine going around, so it is a big difference. And that's why I don't give up on my viewers that are having drug problems, because there is something out there. Even though you may not have heard of it, there's always something they can do to try to help you. So, should I just eat the cake and say the heck with the closing? No. Okay. I would like to thank our guest, Nora Oliver, for appearing today. As always, thank you for watching. Please share this program with your social media friends. If you or someone you know is suffering from a substance abuse disorder, contact the Massachusetts Substance Use Helpline. That is at 1-800-327-5050. If you are thinking about suicide, you can speak to a specialist at the new number 988. If you're having a mental illness issue, you can talk to our folks over at NAMI, Central Middlesex. Their number is 781-982-3318. This show can be seen on a rotating basis on Woburn Public Media stations and on demand at their website and on YouTube. And as always, thank you to the staff at Woburn Public Media Center for making this show possible. Please enjoy our closing theme, Rise Above the Noise, by Fireheart, who was a former guest on our show, all the way through the credits for contact information. So that's watch till the music stops. For America in Crisis, Breaking the Cycle of Addiction, my name is David Hunt. I have more shows coming. Stay tuned. Nora, you are an absolute fantastic guest. Please, if you're having problems, give her a call. See what she can do to help you out. She can help you on so many levels. So again, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Help is out there.
Thank you so much for having me.
Is what we bear. whispers that I hear behind my back are those who never lost a child, a friend, so they lack a sense of loss, a peace that's gone with no return. Above the noise is how we cope, above the noise is how we learn. The most important things in life I found comes deep within the heart, the purest sound of those who won the fight. Now they found a life that's true, a life so rich above the ground. We are people who care, listen to the sound. Rise above the noise in the air. The sound not heard is what we bear. We are people who care. Listen to the sound. Rise above the noise in the air. The sound not heard is what we bear. The sound not heard